In this video, Oli will show you how to paint T'au Riptide, just like this. And remember to subscribe and ring our bell to help Brothers in Dice channel.
Hello guys, here is Oliver from Brothers in Dice channel, and I'm just about to start with my Tau for Tale of Four Warlords. First thing, I have to choose the red I'm going to use for the whole army. I made some samples. What I like most is the scarlet red, and this is probably the color I will go with. After priming black, I will use the white primer for pre-shading, which I will basically spray every figure from the top, and then I will prime the whole figure with scarlet red. Okay, so this is how the pre-shaded models look. You see, I simulated the light coming from the top on each part. Also the hand. Okay, now second step will be scarlet red from Valaco. So it's pretty much visible on this part. As you can see, the pre-shaded areas are much lighter and makes actually the red looks like it should be. Okay, so this is how the primed model looks. Second stage actually is the white parts. As you can see in the chapter approved and the picture of the Farsight army, it's a combination of red and white parts. For this basically I use Deneb Stone, foundation color of Citadel. It's pretty necessary to thin down the paint because these foundation paints from Citadel are really thick. So you need to add quite a lot of water. And I'm gonna choose, for example, this one here. Okay, here we are. I finished all the parts with Deneb Stone. As you can see, I put transfer sheets on the parts here and there. This I would like to point out something that what is a bad thing about new models from Tau is actually they give you just simple transfer sheet with one color. It's only red, so it's will be completely unusable for me for the red primed model. Good thing for me is that I kept some old transfer sheets from Tau models I did in the past, and there are a lot of white parts. White transfer sheets, so these are the ones I used for my models. Next step will be metallic parts. My strategy is to paint all. Actually, I will use airbrush, and I will airbrush all the areas with black again. For example, here, because I have sprayed over the red color, and I need to repair it and put all the metallic parts back in black first, and then I will dry brush with lead belcher and make the effect of metals. You will see in the next step. This is the state I wanted. You see all the parts that will be dry brushed are now black. I added a slight touch to the recessed area on the main body just to increase the contrast of the whole Mini. So now I'm gonna use lead belcher. There it is. Here we are. All right, just like that. It's just a first stage, so you don't need to worry if you go off the area you wanted to dry brush. Anyway, the goal is to have completely worn model full of battle damage, scratches and rust. Alright, here we are with dry brushed metallics. What I want to do now is to enhance the look of the metals, which I will make with either washes, I mean mainly violet wash, flesh shade, maybe earth shade and sepia. The brown washes actually simulate the oily look, and the violet wash will add some color, will add some more metallic look to the metallic surface. You can do it either this way, or you can airbrush some areas with the purple color, or maybe light rust, matte brown, and then just slightly wash some spaces which are pre-airbrushed before to add the depth to the effect. For this model I decided to go the second way. So it means I'm gonna airbrush some areas with purple and orange, rusty, and then brownish colors. Here's the result after airbrushing. I added some purple and some brown effects, and now I will just strengthen it with the washes to add the metal effect and the depth of the colors on the metal. So with the metallics done, I'm gonna destroy the model. Basically with the foam, all the edges will be scratched and simulated battlement damage and chipped off paint. But before that, I want to seal the transfer sheets with the matte varnish, just to make appropriate protection for the decals. You don't need to play with this too much, just one simple coat. You can make it a bit thicker to increase the protection. Alright, for the chipping of the edges, I'm gonna use simple foam and either scarlet red or black. You might ask why. The explanation is simple. Basically, originally in a factory, let's imagine that, they covered the model, well, not model, actually they covered the suit with some black primer or something like this, and afterwards they make the top finishing with red, and then they actually apply all the signs and stuff. Removing just the top surface, which is actually the decals and the white parts, I'm gonna use scarlet red for the chipping, and to represent the deepest damage I will use black or even lead belcher, the metallic. It's scratched completely until it reached the metal. Okay, right after chipping with black, I added slight touch also with a foam, and I used light rust from Vallejo. Just to, it should not represent the chipping, but it should represent the dirt of the surface that actually the model is fighting on. And I'm gonna use the same color for the base. That's why I used on each part just a slight touch, so we will see later on. Next thing, I'm gonna use the same color but mixed with black, and spray here and there on the model to represent the dust that actually is settled in the most recessed areas of the model. Okay, with this stage finished, I want to add the rust, and for this effect I will use the pigment from MIG, which is light rust. I'm gonna use it just in the holes and the recessed areas of the model. Okay, if you want to remove the excess pigment you don't like, you just use the wet brush and brush it off. And then suck it with. Okay. So before I seal all the pigments and dusty effects, I want to dry brush the edges of the most exposed areas with the lead belcher again, just to represent the wear and battle damage and heavy use of each part. This will actually create, I would say, the best result. So for this process you don't even need to dry the brush too much and let the paint inside the brush be thicker, so you can actually dry brush and chip in the same time. Okay, here we are before the final stages. Before I will make the final details, I'm gonna make the base. As I said in the beginning, I'm gonna use light rust, and now I'm gonna mix mud brown, both from Vallejo, as a base color just to match our playing mat. And actually these colors are the same as I used for the dust effect on the model. For the shadows, I will use NATO brown mixed with black. I will spray this mixture around the stones and below the model as such, just to represent that actually there is a shadow. Last step on the base will be dry brushing with Ushapti bone. Before I do the lenses and some details with high gloss varnish, I'm gonna put it a really hard coat with satin varnish mixed with matte varnish. I'm not gonna use pure matte because it's gonna like fade the whole mini. Right after that, I will highlight some areas, mainly the joints on the feet that should be greasy and oily, with pure high gloss varnish from Citadel this time. So now the joints and the lenses, which should be varnished with high gloss. Give it a good shake and apply in 2, maybe 3 thin coats or layers, just in the areas where logically it's necessary to have grease or oil. So everywhere here, then let it dry and you will see if you will add some more layers or leave it like that. So the very last stage is lights and lenses. For lights I'm using scorpion green mixed with skull white, and for the lenses I used standard black with high gloss, and on his head I'm gonna use new waystone green from Citadel.